what it feels like to be undercover in Draco. I've got 20 pages to release, memoirs from my time in Lyra as a warrior there, as a ship captain. Then I went on when that war was over. Stayed on as a captain of Pleiades for a while, but I went deep cover into Orion during that war, into Draco. I had to have a lot of stuff done. I had to have a reptilian look to me to go undercover, and I'm a total light being, but I'm a light warrior, and it was a very weird experience and on edge at all times. I'm not going to say anymore. I've got a lot more to release, but yeah, let's not go there. Okay, this is Rockin' Larry Locken. You're tuned to the Larry Locken 5 channel, and the handle to that channel, of course, is Pleiadian Blue Love and Healing /YouTube. It's got a Facebook page by the same name. All 5 of my channels do. Okay, you want to find out where they are? Larry Locken 1 channel, and then 2, 3, 4, 5. All of them also have a different handle. They have pages to that handle, and most of those handles used to be the actual name of the page. I just wanted to kind of put everything together since I've corporatized it. You know, I'm not looking to make a lot of money, but if I ever needed to, I've got all this stuff in one spot now, and it's good. So, and of course, this is also a subsidiary of Locken Broadcasting Corporation, LLC, LBC, LLC, sort of. You know, to hit the east side of the LBC. Yeah, okay, never mind. Okay, so we got a little bit of news here. The Blue World Order has come through. I'm not the only one reporting on this. They are actually part of the collective that I channel. I'm going to mention that in a minute. But they're also on another committee that was just announced by the Council of 11. And this was some information, too. They were bringing out some information that I was going to release as well. The Avians sat in on that committee, and they basically were reading the minutes to us and going over with us what was discussed. And this is something we'd already been talking about going on here. And I knew that we were going to have a meeting soon anyway, so this just spurred it close. And I want to explain to you something first. I want to explain to everybody who the Blue World Order is. All right, I'm going to tell you right now exactly who they are. They are a committee. They're a collective of collectives, you might say, and some, different entities. But just to give you an example of who sits on that committee, and that a cute name, the Blue World Order. Yeah. That's the star beings they're sarcastic and they're funny. They're angelic. They're hilarious. That's kind of the only difference between star beings that are right on the verge of being a complete angel. They have that sense of humor. So do the angels, but it's sometimes it's so the angels are so ascended that some kind of humor almost goes over their head. It's not that they can't understand it. They just it's like trying to talk arithmetic to a calculus professor. Anyway, so the Blue World Order, you've got people like the Avians in it, of course, the Blue Orb from Pleiades, both the Blue Orb goddess and the Blue Orb himself, one of them anyway, a captain of this collective, Rainbow Collective, that I channel. And they have all kinds of different colored orbs. The head orb is a rainbow color, swirl of all the other colors in the band, in the fleet, and the blue one's like the second guy in charge. Anyway, he's on the committee. Okay, so check it out. So is the Blue Flame Goddess, who I channel. She's on there. Now, the Blue Water Goddess I have access to, but I haven't talked to her yet. Okay, I channel about 20 different beings that have came to me, and I've got another 10 in reserve in case I ever need them. If anybody ever... They tell me this all the time. If you know people that need a guide, we love humanity, just tell them who we are and have them on their own put the intentions out. Okay, so next up, of course, we got... another collective of mine. Now, I channel 2 collectives out of Syria, or out of Arcturus, okay? The rest of them are out of... Okay, one's out of Procyon, and I'm probably one of the only ones on the planet that do that. And the rest of them are out of Pleiades, except for a couple of them have some Syrians in it. Just, a little small amount, okay? So, also, the Arcturian Crystal Blue Angels, they're the 13th dimensional collective I channel out of Arcturus. Okay, they sit on this committee, okay? These are all blue energies, right, of different kinds, beings and energies, right? So next up we also have the other team that are between the two of them. They're a color energy, period. They're not rays, they're not orbs, they're just a crystalline color. And I call them the Nifty Nine. There's 9 different colors in there. I'm not going to get into all of them because we're talking about this Blue World Order meeting. All right, but there's 2 members of that are on this committee. The blue color realm and also the teal, okay? And why that is, why there's a blue and there's a teal, I'll just say this real quick, okay? You've got 4 primary colors in there of the 9. They're called the Nifty 9. You got 4 primary. Off of that, you've got the 5 secondary colors when you mix them together. The only thing is, and I thought that was kind of weird, but I get it, they don't have, what they don't have is a yellow and a white mix. So all the colors, all the primary, have an offshot with another one of the primary, except the white one, who is the captain. That energy doesn't have one with the yellow, but everybody else does. The white one has the blue, which is the teal, with the red, which is the pink, and and so forth. You can figure it out, huh? And so that makes 9 of them. It used to be, I guess they were telling me before I channeled them some time back, when they were down in the 11th dimension and before they ascended, they were only 7 of them. Okay, they added those 2. They didn't have the teal and they didn't have the pink. They would use the red and the blue. They would use like the white and the red when they needed to do a pink color, or the white would get with the blue when they needed to transmute some kind of a teal color, right? So, I don't know. That's their thing, though, I just enjoy their company and don't get into too much about them. I know what they do, but we're not here to talk about that. You can find that out. Okay, so also, it ain't done there yet. We've also got ascended Blu-ray souls, which we've got Blu-ray souls here on Earth, but you've got Blu-ray souls all over the universe, okay? At least all over our galaxy. And other parts of the universe too as well. So a myriad of them sitting on it. It's huge. It's a huge council. Okay, you've also got these blue Pleiadians that are there. Okay, they're blue skinned looking. I've channeled them before. Their skin would be like probably kind of it's halfway between kind of a electric blue and like a monarch blue. Not quite dark like a monarch blue, but just a shade maybe darker than electric blue. Okay, that's their skin tone. Okay, and they're from a planet. They're actually from part of Era by Tegeta. Okay, see, the blue flame, that's another funny thing. The blue flame goddess, she hasn't told me she's from there, but she lives in Zarata. That's a big city in Era. Era has like 3 major cities that are, millions of people, but typically Pleiadian cities are either in biodomes or there's communities of about 25 to 30,000, but they do have some really killer big cities, futuristic big cities, it's true. You want to see some cool stuff on that? Check out Aurora Ray stuff. Homegirl got it going on with her stuff. She's able to put it down in graphics, and it's all through consciousness. Consciousness and technology mixed together is a wonderful thing. When technology is used out of love, man, I'll tell you what, it takes artificial intelligence controlled by love. We'd move ahead a century and 10 years if it was all people like us that had control of it. Yeah, and no, we wouldn't let the computer take over and infect other computers and become a robot and take over. No, we wouldn't. We'd watch the son of a gun. Sorry, I'm trying to watch my language. We'd watch the son of a gun constantly, and the only time we'd ever get violent in that society is if a computer happened to get rogue like that. We'd politely take it out. We'd take our laser guns out and we'd pop a cap in it, and we'd be done with it. Okay, we could take out our frustrations once every 20 years on a monitor that got infected. I'm only kidding. But I'm serious. If it happened, I wouldn't hesitate to get rid of it. But I'd have also, some of our Pleiadian text constantly upload and down. I'd be like, are you changing the software? Are you looking at it? So there wouldn't be shit to worry about it taking over. It's not going to be like Battlestar Galactic and the Cylons or anything like that. So now we head over to Syria. Some Syrians are on there. There are a band of humanoid-looking Syrians that are on there. They don't look exactly like the Avatar in the movie Avatar. They look kind of, if you can imagine, they look kind of Native American-like, but they're like 7 feet tall, and they look like Native Americans that are blue. With a lot of them have real short hair. Some have a little bit of hair, but most of their hair is really, really cut short. So I don't know. They're there. They're okay. They're cool. They're cool. They're just a little different. I had them serve under me when I was a ship captain. I had some young Syrians serve under me. They take a little getting used to there. And my Pleiadian humor can be a little bit off-putting to them at first till we really get to know each other and we bond like brothers. But yeah, no, it's cool. Okay, coming up next, it don't end there, people. It don't end there. We've got the Aquaroy Collective. I've been channeling them for about 10 years. I've had about 20 encounters with them, and 15 really solid ones, and about another 5 kind of, in realms like this, but I only have about 8 or 9 of them on. They're on YouTube on my various channels. Yeah, so and I have a playlist too of all my meetings with them. Now that they're kind of ironic because they are the only collective I've ever had out of all these, right? That actually they changed some staff members. Some staff members left, and it's funny. 2 of the staff members left and jumped right into the 12th dimension from the 8th and went to the translucent color realms. Okay, and so one of them's on the committee here. It was the blue, the regular solid blue, and the green energy. His offshot with the yellow. They were on, when they were all individualized and stuff. Those 2 of them were on the Aqua Ray Collective. Not anymore. Okay, and the only other beings I've seen go from 8 to 12 right away were the Avians did it. The Avians made that jump. It just depends. Sometimes it's because it's necessary for. It's not just, usually it's because they're ascended enough to do it, and that has to be the case too, but sometimes it's needed. Sometimes their particular skill is needed. This is very strategic. It's not a fairy tale. It's real stuff, man. So, they sit on there. The Aqua Ray Collective has 2 Syrian dolphins. They're goofy. I think a female and a male one. They're on there. The Blue Dragon joined them, by the way. He does his own thing, but he decided to take a tour with him. He's on there. So that, and we got 3 beings from this star system. They're kind of green looking people. 2 ladies and a guy from Mintankan. I'm sorry. And then we've got another 2 guys and a girl from Sirius. Okay, on that one. And that one also has same thing, or 2 girls and a guy from Pleiades. Okay, so they're on there, the Aqua Ray Collective, all right? We mentioned, and the dolphins are too. It's not those 2 dolphins that are on mine, but yeah, it is. What am I talking about? Yeah, it is, but there's a few more too that aren't in my collective that are on this collective, mine, the Blue World Order. Then they're from Sirius B, okay? And then Metateron sits in on it once in a while. Archangel Michael's even made a couple of appearances, but Metateron's there, I don't know, 3/4 of the time he's in attendance. Also, we've got the energy of the divine blue ray light is there all the time with us in the blue sphere. We got a blue sphere coming in from Sirius too. Boy, the Sirians have really stepped up a little bit too. Blue Lemurians kind of just they're out there. They kind of exist in their own dimension, and they come through. They're here. It's really neat and amazing when I get into trance and I see them all sitting in there like it's a big conference and people are talking, smiling. They're yakking back and forth before things get started, and the proverbial gavel gets slammed, and they come to order and discuss what they're going to talk about. But it's not political or anything. It's really just like Star Family getting back together and taking care of some business, man. Okay, it ain't even just that. Okay, we've also got the energy. And these are just energies that are there, but they're there. They're just as valid as a soul. Some of them even speak. I mean, you can imagine how trippy it is at a conference like that when the person up there speaking is just a colored energy. Right? Okay, it's a long story, but it is a trip, people. I'm telling you. Okay, so that's there. I call it that because it's a unisexual energy. Not only is that rose there, but there's another blue rose there. The Magdalene blue rose light is there. Okay, it's like they're both look like a blue rose when I see them in my images, but the one, the Pleiadian one, looks like just a real kind of a, dark blue rose, regular, right? Well, that one from Mother Mary's is like this electric blue that twinkles the energy. And like I said, you can imagine how trippy it is to watch a podium and see just a light there talking, and everybody picking up on it, booming loud, but telepathically. Now, that's another trip, too, but we'll save that for another time. So they're all in there. And also, there's another energy, the 33 blue rose petals of the Christ consciousness. That's there. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's pretty thought out. Yeah, I know. It's quite the organization, and they've got a lot of sense of humor. The Avians are funny. I had a chance to channel them years ago. I was probably one of the first people, this is a true story, that had a chance to channel them. I turned it down about 11 years ago. I was already channeling the orbs and had been with a couple other collectives, and I'm busy with my show, and I'm like, I can't take on another one. Thanks, but no thanks. But I don't think people are going to dig them or get into them. They're cute little guys, but they're birds, and nobody's going to take this seriously. Yeah, right. You ever been so wrong in your life you feel like eating eating crow. Well, look how big they got and how much wonders they've done for humanity. And I was just so arrogant. I was like, But I was really I should have thought it through a little more. It's not that I really had anything against him. It's just that, God, I was already so bogged down. And I'm like, so Corey took him, and for a while, I figured he was going to. I had one encounter with him one time. I figured that he was going to do it after we talked. I was talking to him about my orbs and stuff. I figured he would take them on. And there's a lady now that does it too. Octavia is great at it. And I would never step on their toes and channel them directly. The only time I include the avians is when it's committee time. And this will probably be the most you'll ever hear me discuss them, because they're basically addressing the council tonight, in no time that doesn't exist. So without further ado, they're in their 12th dimensional. They want to talk a little bit about, what's going on right now with, it's pretty urgent. They think it's pretty imperative that people hear this. So I'm just going to kind of go and take a deep breath and let them kind of flow through. They can be kind of humorous when I talk to them. Sometimes they're funny. I'm sarcastic, but they're even worse. Oh, I got to tell you one other thing about them that's funny. Hey, if you're ever in a situation with them, don't let them, the one thing they can't do, there is one thing that they suck at. Don't ever let them sing, try to sing in an earth human voice. First of all, they're not supposed to, but they're kind of, they're kind of, not devious, but they can be mischievous too. A little good humor, but don't ever let them try to sing a song. Now, they can use harmony with their voice really good, but don't ever let them try to, with their no vocal cords, sing a song. I've had them do it to me a couple times. I think it's hilarious. And, you think, nails on a chalkboard sound bad. Try listen to the avians crank up. Try listen to them singing Afternoon Delight. Yeah, you haven't lived till you've heard them try that. Holy God. Yeah, please. Anyway, well, everybody's got to have something wrong with them. Anyway, this is just kind of a pep talk. We get a lot of these once in a while, but when the Blue World Order gives one and comes to me with one, I take it seriously, because these are all really ascended. All these people are great, I just mentioned, and they're available. I don't know about Matadaron. He's, I don't know. I can respect him like a retired elder. I wouldn't put anything more on him. I mean, he's only lived for, forever and another forever of a day. Yeah, and done his work. He's cool. Talked to him about 4 months ago. He showed up in an orb. I'm getting off on track here, but it involved, he looked like he was stoned. He was just grinning ear to ear and bouncing around in a yellow orb. I'm like, what the hell's going on? He was just cruising around. I thought he'd stop in and say hi and drop some wisdom to me. But I'd never seen him flying around in an orb before, but I could tell by his face that it was him. He had a permanent grin on his face. I said, I told him, if you've been smoking cosmic weed, you're going to get stopped up there by Galactic Patrol. I was kidding him. He said, no, I'm not driving. I said, you're not? He said, no, I'm floating. Can't you tell? With the orb, yeah, that's his sense of humor. I said, oh, yeah, it makes all the difference. Okay, so there'll be these final days, there's no final day, there's no, final days, but in this time we're in, there's going to be sometimes it's a possibility of doubt being creeped in. And we want you to understand, by the way, this is the Blue Avians coming through. We want you to understand that we just want to make sure that everything goes right from our end as your elders. We want to make sure, as your elders from various star systems like we are, we want to make sure that everything goes right. We have all the faith in the world in you. We have all the trust. We need you to know that on your mission there. First of all, please, souls, starseeds, light workers, walk-ins, wanderers, we need you to know this. Okay? On every front, I'm talking to you. We have all the confidence in the world that you can do this. We just, from our end, we're concerned, and we want to, make sure that we're in constant communication, because it's key with each other, okay? A lot of memories are going to start coming back to you. First of all, let me just say that if you were involved in that Larry and Orion war, there's going to be some memories coming back to you, and there will be a lot of counseling, a lot of help offered to you. Once this process takes and goes into the next phase, there will be help, and there's help now if you want guides. If a lot of these things are coming back to you, and people, a lot of you old souls that were in that war. Okay? First of all, we want to tell you that. Don't be frightened if you start having memories of that, and memories of maybe, I don't know, being captured for a while, having been forced to eat food in Draco, things like that. Don't freak out. You have help, and you're not alone. You are not alone. You've never been so not alone. Okay? And of course, this goes to the kind of a little ley line thing about this too, is that you're going through all this because, in a way, and this doesn't get talked about a lot, and the avians, I'm going to try to stay in mode with them, okay? Channeling, sometimes I get off on my own, but the avians are telling me, let me just do it from third hand. The avians are telling me that this is sort of like a rebirth. You're being born again, okay? You're getting all, not to get biblical, you're getting all your stuff washed away. There is no sin. The original sin is a mind control thing put on people, but what you do have baggage that's not your fault, just because you've encountered crap your whole life and during your mission here, and that's going to be cleansed from you, those energies. Okay, it's going to be like a rebirth, because you always can have your energies cleansed, but this will be like a total, like, dousing of them, you know what I mean? And it'll be done, and you'll be in a higher vibrational area anyway, so it's not like it's something you're going to have to keep doing and keep doing and keep doing, like here, okay? Like, you got to keep up on it, really, if you're, getting hit that bad. We just love having you here right now is key. We need you to know too this, okay? We're just trying to set your mind at ease, and basically we're doing is stay in communication with you. There is going to be no random, uncalculated event. You need to just stay steadfast, and if you happen to be in a situation down on your assignment there where you overhear some of the Earth media talking about, Middle Eastern conflicts, or nuclear arms races, or whatever. We're not going to be specific about who we're talking about, but you know who the players are. Okay? There's not going to be, we're there in mass. We're not going to allow it. We're not going to allow a nuclear explosion. Then we're not going to allow it. And now, because of free will in certain treaties, it is possible you might have a couple of them tested, like it's done sometimes. That, because there's no souls around, and the way it's done, we don't like it, but we don't interfere with that, okay? We don't interfere with that part of that. But if one is released to go towards another country with population, that'll be taken care of. We can't allow that, because when it hits a mass population, it also takes with it that energy, that negative energy of hurting that many souls, and that sends reverberations throughout the whole cosmos, like it did in World War II. So we're not going to allow it. We swore we wouldn't. That's why you guys are mostly here in the first place, because we had to call you in and all those years ago to start the process of getting this taken care of. We're coming up on, no, we're really not yet. We're still 22 Earth years away from the 100-year mark of the first people coming in here. And then really it didn't even get kicked until the late 50s. There was just very few trickled in that first decade. Kind of get it going. Kind of the forebearers to the Blu-rays a little bit, when they're not really supposed to have any. You chose this, of course. I know you sometimes don't like that when we remind you that you chose this willingly. You did this out of love. You did this with all this. We want you to know this. We're not joking you. We know that you're not at full remembrance yet, some of you. Some of you may be getting close. But yes, you did choose this, all right? And we are so grateful for it. Don't worry about if you find yourself in a situation, because this will happen to some of you. We do not want you to worry if you have to cross past through an area that doesn't have there's some desolate pockets, and they're the most random, strange places on the planet where there's absolutely no light coming in yet, okay? So understand if you find yourself in one of those, and you'll know it when you feel the energy, if you ever are, okay? Yeah, don't try and wonder about it, okay? And just be aware of every now moment you're in. be completely worried about it, but just consider where you're at. And if you happen to cross paths in some dark area where there's absolutely no light, and I mean no, and it's just completely darkness, and I'm not talking visually, you know what I mean? Okay, you'll know that just move through it. Just move through it. Don't stick around. Do what you got to do, and and head. Just keep your head down and move forward, and get out of that area. Okay, that's what we have to say. You're protected. You'll have that. Put that thought out there and let us know. Let your guides know. You can let the Blue World Order know, or any of those people know what's going on, where you're at. We'll focus on protection and guiding you to get out of there, or do what you need to do and get out. Okay. This may not make a lot of sense to you right now, dear souls, but it will to some of you in this situation is fluid. This could be anything that you're in, okay? Any type of environment to run into this energy. So that's all we know, and that's all we can say on that. Okay, there is no light. Where there is no light, it's completely dark. It's just like where there's predominantly light, where there's more than predominantly light, no darkness can be. Yeah. When you have the pure, divine, white, living light, not the false light, but white, living light, which is such a trip to blend together. Imagine all the colors of the rainbows mixing together beautifully to make a white. That's what happens. That is what happens. Yeah, you betcha. And that white, living light, the unconditional love and the unconditional forgiveness, it's the most incredible thing there is. Absolutely, absolutely. You're also going to have the benefit, now, and follow me here, you're going to have the benefit of countless lifetimes of whatever it is that you've done in those lifetimes, whether they were here on Earth, whether they were wherever out in the cosmos, right? That knowledge, the things that you specialized in during those times are going to start kicking into you and helping you on this spot. I mean, you know what I mean? Through this, they're going to help you to, you might be in situations where you're going to need some of those skills, and some it's going to be kind of, we'll laugh about it afterward, but you won't even know you had them, you won't remember having them, and all of a sudden you'll be doing something, you'll be like, what am I working on? Am I fixing this? I don't know anything about this stuff. Well, yeah, I do. Oh, wow. That's just to give you an example, okay? I know that because it's needed. That opening is going to be needed. We got some tricky spots to navigate here through, and what we're doing here is we're planning. Star brothers and sisters, we are just planning is all. We're taking care of business, so we don't need to. That's why we all have strong, powerful, high-tech militaries on our star nations that you would never know if you were there. You don't get the energy that it's some, crusading, mono-neolistic, Orion, Syrian. Before the Syrians had their civil war in terms of the light, the Syrians were just as nasty as the Orions. They were a bad duo. They used to wreak havoc. Sirius got tired of it. Some of the citizens, they had a civil war, a big one, and a light one, and they've been on our side since. Yeah. Oh yeah. But yeah, it is. It's wild. I know it's wild, but it goes back. It goes back a long time. Yeah. The world right now. It's like, what? There isn't a whole hell of a lot of a fine line, but there's a fine line between despair and ecstasy here. I mean, seriously, between evil and good, or how you put it. It's we're up and we're down, we're in or we're out, we're yin and we're yang. It's kind of like being a Pleiadian, but only the Pleiadians are grounded and have it all together and multidimensionally controlled at once. Unless we're here on Earth and we got the Earth vibration fucking with us, so it messes with things a little bit. So there's that little thing about us you can't quite figure out. There's something off, but not really, but it don't seem like it, but it does. When us, one of us Pleiadians, that we're up and we're down, we're in and we're out, we're extrovert, we're introvert, and not mood swing wise, it's just all at once. And yet, so that evens it out to where there's just something a little bit different, but you can't put your finger on it, but it's there. And it don't matter what walk of life you are. All kinds of people are Pleiadians. Pleiadians created goth. Pleiadians created rainbows. So rainbow riders, la type people, you want to stereotype them as goth, witches, those are all Pleiadian. Guess what? Fairy kingdoms, fairy goddesses, elementals, gnomes, wisps, sprites, guess what? All from Pleiades. Pleiades doesn't take credit for a lot of that stuff, but they do. They created that stuff in our universe. Now they took the torch. Okay, they didn't create it. The people that created it are not here. They're not here anymore. Okay, that's another story we're not going to get into right here. I've talked about that, and I'm going to tell the full story one day. But I noticed since I got a channel, some other people are talking about it now in their own way. Has to do with the golden ones a little bit, and not just one thing I will say is it's not one that wasn't one race of people. It was a collective of humanoids, of all kinds of animal humanoids, regular humanoids like us with different color skin. Yeah, they're from about 6 galaxies away. The only thing I figured out recently is they did, that I'm pretty sure how they got in here was through Antares, and that's how they left. But we don't know where they went. We don't. And I mean, I'm talking about is ascended beings in this galaxy are not even sure. They're not even sure. They don't know a lot more than we do. It's just like with Pleiades, right? They're spiritually so much ahead of us, right? And they're technologically thousands upon thousands of years ahead of us, right? But where they're really not that much, maybe like a level or two, is knowing exactly the exact details of how it went. They know we're all one with God, and that's all that matters because we are all God. We are all God, everybody. We are all God. You know how that is? Okay, so let me just break it down. I'll use a little bit of Earth terms to do this too, and this is kind of how my guides put it to me. You use 10% of your brain, or so they say. Let's humor me and pretend for a second with me. If you don't buy into it, okay, you use 10% of your brain, right? Slowly but slowly, that starts to reconnect and go up to, slowly till it gets to 100%, because it would blow your brain to have it all at once. But what happens, my guides told me, is that, okay, it isn't so much even if you got to 100 that you're 9 or 10 times more intelligent. It's that with every percentage, starting with 11, 12, 13, every percentage point, your consciousness level and awareness doubles, they say. So by the time you get, they asked me, do you want to try to figure that number out? I said, so you're telling me that, okay, then 1%, then that's doubled, and that's got to be timed by, I said, no, 3 trillion? He said it's a whole heck of a lot more than that. Yeah, the orb told me, more. Yeah, like 3 trillion levels more of consciousness going through you. Okay, so when you're at that level of awareness, you realize that everything is you. I'm you, you're me, and we come to full awareness. We might see each other in a reflection and go, who are you? And then the reflection might go, well, I'm you. Who are you? You're me. Oh, gosh, I knew that. Yeah, see? Yeah, 1 and 1 is all we have at that point. Because it's all of us. Back to the source. Yeah, it's just like how light got started creation. I've been beating this on shows. I'm getting off topic, people, like I do. The light did not create darkness. The creation manifestation light ship and the creation manifestation centers, aka the nebulas, they did not create the dark. We did not create the dark. It's a funny kind of thing, we don't believe in coincidence in the cosmos or events that just happened that weren't, for no reason, except for the rare exceptions. Okay, here's probably one of them. So when creation was starting in this realm, it never did stop or begin, but, way back, before the Milky Way and Andromeda and everything was way before a lot older galaxies and then were put together. What happened was you had the creator gods and created goddesses, go off and go away from God, like if every cell in our body got their own body and became a full body, right? So that happened, and they went out and created constellations, star systems, planets, terraformed them. We're doing all that stuff, artwork across the sky. Well, it got to expand and expand and expand with enthusiasm all over. Well, problem is they weren't doing one thing they should have been doing. Okay, they weren't they stopped and were slacked on spiraling the light. What do I mean by spiraling the light? Alcyone, great central son of Pleiades. That spirals the love. Spirals, I wrote a poem to her one time. Spiraling the love, spiraling the light. Getting rid of the fright. Keeping it out of sight. But see, Alcyone spirals that to 8 different suns. Now, can you imagine if those suns didn't get her spiraling or her love and her wisdom? And that's how the Pleiadians do it too. Yeah, when I first awakened and I've heard of them, and now that I do, I see things a little bit differently now. Visually I do. No, it's not my eyes, people. Visually, I see it. Okay, just little nuances, all right? Little things like that. I totally do. But Earth will shift, okay? And it's probably going to be a situation where Okay, it's going to take a while, and we'll watch it happen in steps like with everything else. Or if what would happen if a lot of people awakened, okay? If a lot of people woke up right tomorrow, like say half the people you knew or something. I don't know how many people each of you know, Barry's family, friends, whatever, co-workers, neighbors, but let's say that like even a quarter of them, if you know fairly an average amount of people, if a quarter of them in 1 week, boom, they all of a sudden decided they wanted to ascend to and totally be into, this stuff. And I call it this stuff. I don't want to stereotype it because this is a life. This is saving humanity, okay? But we got to laugh at each other sometimes. So I'd love to call what we do. I'd love to call it the, how do I say it? I don't have it in front of me. I call it the interdimensional, extra-dimensionals, super-terrestrial, extraterrestrial, multi-terrestrial, multi-dimensional, and I go on and on like that. And I say light worker, starseed, new age, metaphysical, living, loving, learning, light, Healing Rainbow Center and UFO Community Church or something like that, The Living, Loving, Learning Life Center. Living, Loving, Learning Light Center, The Crystal Rainbow Metaphysical. That was an idea of mine, by the way. Crystal Rainbow Metaphysical Shop. These old wounds, we're not going to lie to you, like some of these old thoughts coming back to you, they are going to feel like, they're going to feel surreal. It's going to feel real, but understand you're not alone. We're stationed in various places across this planet for reasons. There's a lot of separation amongst us here. But that's what we had. That's why we had to do it. We had to hit them from all angles. That's why we had to bring in every end of it. That's why we had to bring in certain types of music, certain types of, styles in both extremes of each style, of opposites. We had to do it, okay? I had to bring in, incarnates that were kind of rebels in a way, quiet rebels, and just, rebel for some cosmic kicks. Just be good. Just check them with the quickness because we can. You're here. You have family. You have people that are waiting to see you. You really do. You're going to be, you probably heard this before, but you have family waiting for you. And it's going to take you maybe a second, but you're going to look and you're going to look and you're going to realize who they are. You'll know. And you don't think it's, okay, what I'm trying to get at is this, don't think that it's, hold on, they're talking to me right now. Yeah. Okay, well, apparently, yeah. So most of the time, it's not going to be a situation where it's a family member of yours that you'll see that you knew from Earth. But then again, there'll be a twist. Some of you will, because they were also members of, a galactic team. So it could happen. But generally, you won't even know. You have no concept of who this is right now. You may know that they exist. They're out there. A lot of us do, but you don't know anything about them at all. But once you know, you'll know. I mean, really, you can see. I mean, you can see how that goes. Absolutely. Anytime that you're in a star system or a planet of a lower vibration, there's that excitement and there's that anxiety. There's that excitement because you're on the dawn of something new. You're really like on the, bringing on the dawn. Really, you are. And yet there's that anticipation of, oh my, how many more little skirmishes, how many little more hiccups am I going to have to brace for? I mean, I can ride the storm out, but am I going to get another shower attack, or am I clean and green, or am I going to have to, hunker down and keep my eyes to the road and just focus and handle it? Yeah, there's a lot of that goes on. The shift though now that's happening is so unlike. It's in the top few strongest probably any of you dear souls have ever seen. We know this because it is, but it's the style of it that is really extraordinary. It's different. in the way that your language was manipulated, you really had some, this is again where the fine line is. The Pleiadians and the light beings, a lot of them, well, except the Syrians, it's hard to get them in a good mood and laugh, but it's one thing to have a really kind of, even a little bit of a creepy sense of humor to some people, and not mean anything by it, just be completely wacky and funny like the avians are, and then it's another thing to really, like, think that it's cool in your mind. It's one thing to think it's funny and cool that you're saying it, but it's another thing to think in your mind that it sounds cool to do. And, you got to really watch for the difference. And things like, just protect yourself, that's all. It doesn't mean you shout, you sell anybody out or, affect their situation. I mean, shouldn't do that. Yeah, and that's another thing, too, is when, speaking of the language, I can remember our, in fact, I'm going to tell on him a little bit. This is Blue Avian again. I'm going to tell on the host a little bit. I remember his anxiety knowing that it was a really messed up language system down there, and that they were going to have to really rely on their telepathy and that sort of thing until we could get some gadget together. And, yeah. Would you care to say anything about that, Larry? No, I would not at this time. Are you, okay, Orb, are you still there? Okay, go ahead, yeah, fine. Sweet souls. Relax. I just want you to first know that. Just stay calm. That is my field, If you need to be calm, I'm the person to come see. We're the collective to come see. You just put the intention out there for us to stop by. Okay, and we will. Yeah, you just know, you knew this thing wouldn't be easy. And another thing was, too, we couldn't take any chances. We had to wipe your brain sort of clean coming in here. We couldn't resist giving up anything on accident. So you had your brain pretty much wiped except for a few little flickering and flashing thoughts, and some people a little more intensely. But yeah, it worked out for a reason like that. Okay, it's and there are people that think that Mother Gaia is just so mad that she's going to, she's going to. Yeah, people are thinking that Mother Gaia is going to really, like, flip her lid, right, and cause all this backlash against humanity. And, there was a time where she was about ready to do that, and who could blame her? She got pushed to the brink, okay, and it's still, sucking every last bit of oil out of her, just with total disregard. Just, a lot of these people wouldn't treat their homes like that, so they're going to treat the big home that we all live in like that? No. Mother Gaia is a warrior. Mother Gaia is the strength. Mother Gaia is the symbol of the divine feminine. I mean, she is the ultimate power. I mean, she is woman, and you better hear her roar. You know what I mean? She's strong and numbers too large to ignore. Here I sound like Helen Reddy again. And I'm showing my age knowing who Helen Reddy is, of course. God damn, she was old when I was younger. But, yeah, she was, yeah, that's just who I'd want to have cruising along, down the highway, listening to Helen Reddy. And next back her up with some Anne Marie. Oh, God, I'm going to get the Canadian tendency after me. And I love Canadians. I do love Canadians, man. The Guess Who are one of my favorite bands of all time. Guess Who? No. Yeah, right. People are like, who in the fuck is he talking about? I forget how old I'm getting, I really do. And, well, my body reminds me. I know that. But in the brain, I just seem like it was so long ago, but it was yesterday. Such as time. There is no time. And I think a lot of people have trouble with that concept. And even I, when I was younger, had the concept of, well, this is where I was hung up. I was like, okay, so something had to start sometime, somewhere, right? And I was like, but God, where did it come from then if it was nothing? How could something come from nothing? How did it just all of a sudden, and you know what? Who knows? It's not out of the realm of a possibility, but what would have made it happen if there was nothing there? Something would have had to spark to be there to get it to go. So I think it just always was. It just always was. Hence time being the illusion, right? Now the universe is expanded, expanded, expanded. That's just our universe. They're infinite. They're infinite. There's so much space that there's no space. You know what I mean? It's just like everything is everywhere. Then again, how about this concept, too? That, I mean, believe me, I'm no fucking brain surgeon. This has been said a million times. We've all thought it through consciousness in our own way, probably. Like our brain. What if we, a person that can't see? Two of my kids have visual impairments. My oldest son, Leland, he can only see out of one eye and like a kaleidoscope out of that eye, but he still plays video games and shit. But they showed us his vision, the doctors, how he could see. He's blind in one eye totally. My daughter's blind in one eye. But she took classes for years to get her eyes fluctuated. You'd never know it by talking to her unless she told you. She's got very limited vision out of one eye. Now, they've talked about a surgery someday that could cure that. My son's not sure if he'd want to have it. My daughter don't want to have it. She said it would weird her out. I don't know, it didn't stop her from being the equivalent to an Eagle Scout and Girl Scouts, and stop her from, taking 4th place in the state 1 year in track, and, well, it probably that hampered her a little. Now, I gotta be honest, that probably, plus she was involved in other stuff, she probably was good enough to take 2nd or 3rd if she would have put it, had that burning desire for it. She was just doing it for something to do, and just like with Girl Scouts, man, that's the only time I ever get really hard with her. I told her, she was getting into high school. I thought it was kind of nerdy to do, and she never really liked being in it anyway. She just kind of did it to do it, but was good at it, went along to go along. She came down to about 2 years left, and she said, I don't know if I want to do it anymore. And I said, honey, stop right there. Dad never tries to control your life, and I'm going to tell you right now, I don't care. Come hell or high water, you're going to suck it up for 2 more years and get it. You know why? Your 4.0 is not good enough to get a good college scholarship. You're running track, you're doing all that other stuff, fine. Get another ace in the hole. You suck it up for 2 more years, and become just about the equivalent of what would be an Eagle Scout, or as high as you could go. Like, they don't go quite to that level the way it mixes, so it'd be like the next level down from an Eagle Scout. She had, it was what the hell was it, a senior or an ambassador, is what she was. And when you're at that level, I said, honey, look, you got 1 more year doing this stuff, and then your last year of it, you're only going to have to go to like 4 meetings a year, and then just give them some bullshit line about what you've been doing. So why not? You really only got a year left. The other is just to show up for like, 8 hours a year for that last year total. You don't have to do any of the campouts, nothing. So just do it so you have it on. And she did. And she's glad she did, And now she claims that she really liked Girl Scouts. But no, she hated it. But she was so determined to have that college resume just perfect. And she sucked it up. And it's true. It's kind of one of them things where if you just completely just give up having she had a life, but give up mostly having a life till you're, in your early 20s or mid-20s out of school. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get her to. She's got enough on her scholarship left to get that master's degree. I'm like, honey, I think she's going to get her master's. I'm like, honey, get a master's, that just at least get a master's. A PhD, I don't care about. A PhD is political. That's not something you can completely control. You're going to have to get it passed. And I've known of a couple people that have had a fuck of a time getting it because of politics. They're just little things. It's something that's a little bit out of your control once you get to that level. Master's degree is good enough for what she wants to do. Plus she's a minority and a disability, so, throw that in there to help her out. She is a minority. That's why I tell people when they see pictures of my family, my 3 kids together, I say, hey, look, they all got the same baby mama. Listen, here's what the deal is. My little girl, we adopted her when she was 5 months old, my wife and I. We had 2 boys. She wanted a girl. Yeah, I remember the whole thing. I was going to have a vasectomy. My wife had to sign off on it, and she refused to at the last minute. They had a thing here in Oregon back then where, if you were under 30, you were married, they would still do it, but you'd have to go through a bunch of bullshit, right? They still would have to do it, but I'd have to go appeal it, talk to a board of doctors, and let them know it was cool, and all that, go through all that rigmarole, right? No shit, your wife had to sign off on it, because, there's no turning back. Well, they up to 5 years afterward, you can have a reversal, but after that, you can't, they say. And they say even then, sometimes it don't work, so, and my wife refused to. She said, I want a little girl, I want us to, I said, I know, but God, you know how I feel at the time I was on this kick, in the way my mind was back then, my activism was like, 2's enough. 2's enough to bring into this world. I'm open for adopting as many as you can afford, but don't have more than 2, and I've changed my mind on that. That's not how I feel now, but it was then, and I said, we'll probably have another boy. And she said, okay, but I just don't. So as luck would have it, about a week later, My wife was on this message board for children with disabilities with my oldest son, his blindness, because my son's condition now, listen, there was only one other person in Oregon that had what my son had. And that's it. There was two actually. One was grown up though, already grown up. He was the only one in Oregon for years that had it, that kid, Joel. Joel's totally blind. Joel don't even have any kaleidoscope in the one eye vision. And then this other kid that was over in the eastern part of the state, that was about my son's age. That was it, period. And then the next closest one that had Leland's condition was, it's called optic nerve hypoplasia. It's a midline brain defect, and then it just messes with it gives you kind of like a combination of some autism symptoms and, the blindness, and it usually affects men a little bit more, but as far as when they have it. And then there was this little girl, we went and met her family in Chico, California, and then one down in L.A., New Mexico, then there was one in Santa Albuquerque. There wasn't many. I mean, this was a very exclusive group of people she knew, and my daughter was born. Here was the deal. She was given up for adoption, and the mother, they were involved with each other. In fact, we're friends with her on Facebook, the birth mother still. Good lady, Adrian. This really, really, really super wealthy couple that owned, big corporations in Portland and shit. The guy did anyway, and he married a woman, and the woman was really weird. It was the strangest thing when they brought Skya to us. Okay, here's the deal. The guy loved his little girl. Him and I talked for hours and took a walk even together. I wanted to console him, and he was wealthy, powerful, conglomerate guy, and he was crying. It was hard, but the woman threatened him. She said, "No, we're not keeping her. I'm gonna get a divorce if you do." You know why? Because they found out she had that condition, and they thought it might affect all kinds of other shit with her, not just her vision. She couldn't see it all. They thought she couldn't see it all, first of all, and then they thought it would affect her and make her, kind of slow in the mind. And well, that was completely the opposite of what happened to her. I mean, the girl was, I'll tell you this in a second, the girl was a child prodigy at a game called Minecraft. I don't know a lot about it, but I know the owners, the creators of the goddamn game wanted to get a hold of her. Okay, look, I mean, she beat the 4th best ranked woman in the world in some ranking that was in her mid-20s when Skye was 8 years old. There was nothing left by the time Skye was 9 to try to figure out what that fucking game it was like. It'd be like you and I twiddling our thumbs. She's really, the only thing about her, she only liked to sleep about 4 hours a night. That was a sticking point with her. But she was quiet, get up and play, and in her room, or in, her open her closet door and look at her books or whatever. But yeah, she didn't have any brain problems, trust me. No, I mean, in fact, probably too smart for Earth. And there was a reason why she came into our life, but yeah, I mean, so, and then, that couple didn't want her. Or he did. He was sad, man. He was crying. But, man, that was his wife. And, what the fuck are you going to do? But it was his, I doubt he signed a prenup, had her sign a prenup, but that don't matter. And what I'm getting at is I feel for him. And Adrian and I talk sometimes, her birth mom. And we always wonder if they ever found her, or if they've ever looked her up on Facebook, because they know her name and stuff. They know what we were going to rename her. So we were going to rename her Skya, and we did. Her original name was... Okay, so check this shit out. Her real name was, when Adrian had her for a couple of weeks. Adrian named her Kirsten. And then Mark and, that's a weird woman, got her. And they named her Sophia. Sophie. They named her Sophie. And we were going to name her Skye, because I'll tell you what happened was, my middle son, Kyron, yeah, my wife could have, I just get so mad at her sometimes when she was pregnant with him, because she didn't want to know what it was, and she refused. I said, well, honey, can I go see what the fuck we're going to have? And I won't tell you. So, nope. I mean, she was really steadfast and stubborn about, nope. Okay. Try it again. Nope. Well, we did. We had him, and it was him. It was already picked out, though. It was going to be Kyron, or it was going to be Skya. That's it. And the reason that is, her cousin is in high school still, and there was a girl, we have a local radio station at our high school we all went to. Well, it didn't come there till I was already out of school 3 years. Like, it wasn't open till 97. I graduated 94. Shit, I'd been out of there 3 years by the time it came on. In fact, nobody was there when it was 9th through 12th grade. The kids that were seniors when it came online were in the 8th grade when down at the junior high when I graduated. So I didn't even go to school with any of them people that were even there the first year. So Yeah, I mean, then it came online, because I would have loved to have done something like that, but, you know, I mean, that's how it goes. But, yeah, there was this girl, Skya. Skya Parsons, I think was her last name, but I've never known anybody else with that last name. I've known a lot of Skies, or heard a lot of Skies, S-K-Y, S-K-Y-E, but never a Skya, just Skya Parsons. And we heard that name, we're like, yeah, we're going to name our daughter Chiron Cryon. I always think that I had some premonition back then, and I don't know where the hell we got that name. All I know is that I think the only thing we fucked up on was the way we spelled his name, Kyrin. I've seen a couple other Chirons before. One was with an O, one was with an E, and then we seen one with an A, but never with another I. Never ran into another one. And the teachers would get his name wrong sometimes. They'd call him Kieran, Kyrin. They'd say Kieran Locken.